Hey there everyone, my name's Gemma, I'm 25, and I lived a pretty safe and, well, maybe boring life until I became bewitched and transformed into a furry. Some folks don't believe me when I tell them this, but some things in this world are truly enchanted, and so is this story. Like I said, I led a pretty ho-hum life. I was single, so there were a lot of nights alone with my roommate, Juno, playing card games or watching old movies. I mean, sure, I was interested in finding someone to share my life with, romantically and all. But after being hurt by my ex, I wasn't really looking forward to jumping back into the dating pool. I remember as a kid, I used to be fearless. But as I began to grow older, life just got scarier. So I stuck with the safe path where I felt comfortable. I stayed in my hometown where I rented a chair at this salon and had some regular customers. Oh, did I not mention that I'm a hairstylist? Well, I am. I learned from my mom, and she learned from her mom before her. And it did them pretty well, so I figured that was a dependable move. Matter of fact, I even had my grandma's old hair stuff. They were ancient and more like keepsakes than anything useful. One day, the salon owner told me that she was selling the shop because some fast food tycoon made her an unbeatable offer. When I asked if she was going to open a new shop, she told me that she was set with the sale and decided to make off with an early retirement. But that left me up creek without a paddle and no way to make ends meet. Luckily, Juno got me a job waiting tables at the diner she worked at, where I ran myself ragged for a bunch of measly tips. It was just until I figured something else out. Maybe I could find another salon to work at, but I wasn't having much luck these days. I was feeling mighty blue one afternoon, and this real handsome fella, a regular at the diner, tried to cheer me up. He was sure easy on the eyes and not hard to talk to at all, so it kinda worked. Maybe he was even flirting at me. But I was still a little raw from the breakup, so I didn't want to get involved. But this guy, Chadwick, gave me some advice. He owned his own business, developing apps for modern mobile users, and he said that going into business for himself was the smartest thing he ever did. He told me that I ought to open up my own salon, and maybe an investor could help. But that sounded like a lot of pressure. It seemed like a safer bet to find a barbershop or something. But I guess old Chadwick didn't forget because he called me one evening and asked if we could meet up. I told him that I wasn't so sure that was for the best and talked about my breakup and how scary relationships can be. He said he wasn't asking me out, and I suddenly realized that my foot was in my mouth and I started to apologize. "Don't be sorry," he said. "I was just calling to see if I could get a haircut." I figured a once-in-a-while client sure wouldn't hurt. But when he came over, I realized I didn't have what I needed to cut hair. And I was about to tell Chadwick I couldn't do it then, and he'd have to come back. But then I remembered my grandma's old stuff in the garage. I got some clippers, a pair of scissors, and that was about all I needed. But this golden brush caught my eye. I didn't remember this brush. I looked closely on the handle, and there was this engraving that simply said, "Relax." I told old Chadwick about it, and he said he could use some R&R himself. He had himself a heaping of stress at work and some new mergers and whatnot. At first, I used that old golden brush to tame his mane, and when the brush touched his hair, it made this really low whisper-like rustling sound. There was something calming in it for both of us. And then what happened next changed everything about how I saw the world. See, old Chadwick got so relaxed that he conked out. I tried to nudge him awake, but he was sawing logs. I figured I'd let him take a nap, but then suddenly there was this tear in his trousers, and out sprung a furry foxtail. It was burnt orange color, and soon I started noticing all his hair that started growing all over him, and he was morphing into this great furry creature that sort of resembled a fox. I couldn't have been more frightened at that moment, and I ripped over my own 2 feet, backing away. I expected him to freak, but he said he never felt better. And he started patting his hair to soothe himself. The sound in my head relaxed me so much when I brushed my hair. And he asked me to run the brush all over his body. I did, and it seemed to help him relax. You could tell he was feeling better, and he began to purr like the fox creature he was. Even being around him and hearing the sound of the brush running through his fur relaxed me. Suddenly, Chadwick knew how to handle his business problem, and he faced his fears and handled his merger call with a newfound confidence. He thanked me, paid me double, and then encouraged me to try it. Could this brush really have some kind of magical power? And if it did I even want to try it? I said it made me too uncomfortable. but he touched my face and brushed away my hair. He had a peaceful vibe, and he told me that there was no way for me to know how comfortable it was if I never tried it. Soon, Chadwick was running the golden brush through my hair. Sure enough, the rustling sounds gave me a tingle down my spine, and my muscles relaxed. It was moving from my scalp to my neck and shoulders. I fell into a deep, trance-like sleep, and in my dreams, I could see myself. I was watching myself in this white space. I could see all my problems floating around, money and hairdressing and even relationships. I plucked the problems out of the air and packed them in this suitcase. Once I closed the suitcase, I threw it with all my might, and all my problems soared and floated off into oblivion. When I woke up, I felt 1,000,000 times better. My worries were gone. "Doesn't it feel amazing?" Chadwick asked. I thought it would have been terrifying, but it was actually comforting. My human problems seemed so far away and easy to handle. I don't know why, but I told Chadwick I wanted to kiss him, and then, without waiting for his answer, I just did. The fur of our cheeks were rubbing together, and the sound took us both into a peaceful bliss. We had found love together, and I wasn't afraid of being in a relationship any longer. Even the next day when I woke up, back as an everyday human, I felt somehow cured of myself and my fears. Life felt simple again, like when I was a kid. I decided I wanted to open my own salon, but I wanted to give more than haircuts, and I wanted everybody to experience this kind of peace. I thought I would start with my roommate, and that evening Chadwick and I joined a poker game with her and her new boyfriend, this real fidgety guy named Harvey. I was telling them about my business and the new experience, but they were looking at me like I was crazy. I told them I could prove it, and after the poker game, this Harvey guy volunteered to try it. He too became a furry, and brushing his fox hair brought him joy that he had never experienced. At least that's the way he described. Soon, Juno was dying to try it, and afterwards, she called her mom. She was forgiving her for everything in the past. She felt so renewed that she threw her arms around me and told me I changed her life. I enjoyed cutting hair, but helping others heal old wounds and conquer their fears was unlike anything else. I felt like I had a real purpose in this world. Juno told almost everyone in town, and soon folks were lining up for some furry ASMR therapy hairstyles. I watched men and women transform into furries and forget their worries. After a few months, I had enough money to open my own shop without having to take out a loan. Chadwick helped me with some of the business details, and everything fell into place. I used to be the kind of gal that froze up when anything new came my way, but now I had no fears, and I moved through life with a new confidence. Change is a scary thing, but we all have to go through it at times, and I think the only way to survive it is to confront it with a smile on your face. There's a saying out there that I know to be true. Everything you want is right outside your comfort zone. Whoever you are, you have the power to do great things for others. So don't be afraid to try, even if it seems like it might be uncomfortable. What worries do you want to forget about? Tell us about it in the comments. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. Remember, when you share our stories, you're sharing wisdom.